I don't know what type of count that was.
Hey, man. Hey, y'all. It's Foxhole. It's your girl, Claudia Jordan. We are back with TGIF. We're here to spill the tea and break down the biggest headlines in the news and on social media. So sit back, relax, get ready for this hot tea. What's up, Al? And what's up, Funky?
What's going on, Claudia?
Claudia, I'm doing good because Joyce ass ain't here to bother us tonight. I don't know
Oh,
if Joyce
yes.
said Joyce ain't harassed us before the show started. So, that means we ain't got nobody watching us. We can do whatever we want tonight.
Where's Joyce? Did she go get a $20 bag?
No, Joyce say, no, she just hit me in the thing. She say she here. Oh man,
I thought
Mother Goose is here.
I'm drinking, so it's about to be back drinking. You know, this is probably the longest time I've not been with alcohol. Like, it's been over 2 weeks.
How does it feel to unlock your better self?
I don't like it.
Well, he wasn't unlocking his better self. He'd been on
I was forced to. Yeah.
Well, then again, too, you just switched that for another vice because you was on them pain. But let's talk about it. See, now you didn't do it right.
I didn't.
Listen, I'm not a doctor, so don't take no medical advice from me and don't listen to me. This is just what I do. Okay. This is what I do.
Okay, yeah, let me hear.
Here we go.
Okay.
Hey, kids, get out the room right now, kids. Don't
let me tell you the baby, I seized this the opportunity to get me a little piece of pain pill prescription because it ain't nothing like coming home, taking a piece of Percocet, the little pain pill because you in pain. Ooh, my face in pain. And you do it with a little bit of wine. Ooh, baby.
I'm going to tell you this. Q and I laughed about this. I felt incredible on the Percocet. I promise you, I don't even know. I felt incredible. I don't think I felt any pain. I felt like I could do the surgery again. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was flying higher than a kite. But all my friends got on me and was like, you can't keep taking it. You can't keep taking it. You can't keep taking it because you're going to get used to that feeling and it can be addictive. And I'm going to tell you, it's very true. It's very true. And so I cut mine off on Sunday.
Don, the chat says, Claudia, you look like you had an edible. Let's go. You look relaxed. No, I wish I had a painkiller like Al. I'm actually allergic to Percocet, and I found out the hard way.
Really? What happened?
Your throat closed up or something?
Worse. So this is about 2007, 8. I was dating this guy. He was a football player, so he got them good drugs, right? And he was big, so he had them. I didn't realize how strong of a prescription he had. Anyways, I was having bad back spasms. I had like dental issues. So he's like, I got Vicodin. So he sent me some, but it was like a label. The label was off the bottle. It was Percocet and not Vicodin. I took it. I threw up 16 times.
Whoa.
And was totally dehydrated. And I was very incohesive. Like I felt like I was in a
incoherent.
Oh, that too. Maybe it's the effects of still.
Incohesive mean you was falling apart, baby. You was.
I was that too. I was like, what? I did not know what was going on. It was terrible. So damn, it feels good, Al. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was so good. Baby. Oh, it was so good. I promise you, I felt like I could do the surgery all over again while on the pills, of course, but it was good.
But we do not condone drug use or abuse here at Foxhole, just fighting kids and old people from time to time. But say no to drugs.
You know, it just sounds like this. We be real animated when we talk about this kind of stuff. Then we be like, we here at Foxhole don't condone, but then we just get the glimmer in our eye when we talk about it. Okay, but anyways, do as we say, not as we do. How about that?
Right.
All right. So, are you drinking tonight, Funky? Are you still doing that unlocking?
No, you know what I'm doing. I'm down bad, y'all. I ain't got no groceries. I literally had to go in my kitchen and make lemonade with the lemon juice and add some sugar and some ice. I'm down bad, so no.
I have real lemonade. I got the Simply lemonade. I keep a bottle of that. I made some tacos tonight. All right. Well, we have a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and get into it. I want to hear y'all's opinions on all these stories. There's an update on the Carlee Russell case. Carlee was found guilty of 2 misdemeanors for faking a kidnapping. Carlee's hoax is now going to cost her a year in jail and almost $18,000 in restitution. What are your thoughts on Carlee? Let's go to you first, Q. What do you think about her?
It feels fair to me. It definitely feels fair. She has to be punished in some capacity. I don't, I think some people are satisfied. Some people say she deserved more. Some people say she doesn't deserve jail. I definitely think the shame and backlash alone that she caught from the Black community definitely is going to be enough to punish her and put her on a straight and narrow. I'm not going to lie to you. I think she should owe a little more than 18,000. Because I'm pretty sure we spent more than 18,000 in police resources. I think when things like this happen, they need to take the payroll cost of every single person involved. They need to take every piece of resource that was used. They need to take the gas cost. They need to bill for every paperclip, piece of paper, and everything used in this. They need to charge whatever it costs the news to broadcast the story, and all those costs need to be passed on to the person who perpetrates a crime like this. But I can sleep easy at night with her having a year. Now, if it was like some 10 years or something, I think that's egregious. But I definitely think in this situation, the penalty fits the crime.
I don't have that much to say about this. I'm just gonna interject real quick. I feel like we see a lot of like, and I know you bringing race into it. I just like the consistency across the races, right? I feel like we've seen lots of hoaxes and fake news and Karens and calling the police, filing false reports, a lot of times from our lighter brethren and sisters, right? And I've never heard of them paying restitution. But with Jessie and her, quickly, which I do think they deserve to do that, but I would like to see consistently across the board to discourage this from everybody. Al, what you got to say? What do you think about this?
Let me tell you what I thought was super interesting, and I want you guys to stay here with me. Just give me a little chance to express myself because I don't want to do it the wrong way. What I thought was interesting was how people responded to this sentencing, like, and definitely compared to Jussie Smollett. Like, we have a gay black male. They took more time to kind of bring any type of action against him. He only got 156 days, and he was fined for restitution for resources. However, with this black woman, it just kind of felt to me that they were quick to convict her. They couldn't wait to nail her to the cross and use her as an example. And what was even deeper and more interesting was she got more time than Jussie, and Jussie's was national and possibly, had international touch. And she also got a lot of heat from other black women. So I'm just like, woo and wow. Because if you read the comments from the different posts and on the different blogs, everybody was like, good, get her, right away, right now. She deserves it. And a lot of those comments were coming from black women. So I just found that all very interesting, weird, and odd.
I'm gonna say black people because I see whenever a black woman's in the news, I definitely feel like black people come from them way more when it's a black man. I'm
not weird for thinking. I'm not weird. I'm feeling this in here, right? Okay.
No, it's true. It's true.
I didn't really want to bring it up because I was like, ooh, I might be on the wrong side of this discussion. But that's what I felt.
I just don't think it's just black women though, because I think when it's a black woman that's like in the news, there's never much grace with this kind of stuff. It's like, good, that's what that bitch gets. I don't know. I just hate that it justifies their lack of urgency when it comes to black women.
Black people. Claudia, we should go to some of these comments because we got some good ones. So Golden Bliss says she looked like she'd do it again. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. She was walking with a little too much bounce, and that hair was a little too dumb for me. I needed to see just a little more remorse, and I'm sorry in that face. But Tina Lester says, good, jail she needs to go. You cannot build anything on a lie. And then TT Tish TB says, that's money she will never be able to pay back, but she should be penalized. And we need to get all these Karens and their false reports and complaints penalties added up to. I agree. And lastly, Devolution says she's more likely to lose her ability to be a nurse. So that's quite the price to pay, more than the restitution. You've got a point there.
That's right. All right, let's move on. Nene Leakes recently opened up about her thoughts on marrying again. Take a look.
I was thinking about having a partner for life. Even though I know the person isn't right for me, at least there's someone, maybe we would have an agreement that this person would be there for me and I would be there for them.
Do you sympathize with Nene here now, Al? I know that's your friend. So how are you feeling about this?
I'm a sucker for this. Of course, I sympathize with her. It simply breaks my heart as her friend, right? You just don't want to see your friend crying. And definitely you guys know that I spoke at Greg's funeral and I promised to him to always kind of have my finger on the pulse when he can't be there to support his wife or protect her. So of course I sympathize with her, but I got to tell you this, she let's just put her aside. it's not something she's facing alone, right? I look at Claudia and I think the exact same thing. Like, I look at you, you're successful, you're beautiful, you're talented, you got all the cars, you got all the jewelry, you got all the house, you got the personality, you have the fame, you have the wealth, but you still aren't getting what you deserve, or at least believe that you deserve, right?
That means she crazy or her stuff stinks.
I didn't say that, Claudia. I
ain't listening to him because I know his stuff definitely stinks. The way his apartment be looking, his stuff definitely got to stink. And I know them drawers is filthy. But go ahead, Al. Go ahead, Al.
It's still burning in the kitchen.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. It's echoing in my huge house. What'd you say?
You know what? I can't with you guys. But I just feel like that a lot of women can relate to this. A lot of women feel like they shouldn't have to, because, especially successful women, because they feel like, look, I have all of this to offer. Why aren't I getting what I feel like I deserve? And they don't want to settle. So I think what is the psyche there? What's the electrical connection in a woman's mind based on their success and everything that they feel like they can offer, and them not getting what they deserve?
All jokes aside, I definitely feel like you almost get penalized like the more successful you are, especially if your male counterparts aren't keeping up. And a lot of women don't care anymore like what they have. It seems like the girls that are really broke be like, I want a man that got this, that, Benzes, this, Bentleys, all kind of unrealistic goals. And the women that actually got it going on, a lot of my friends that do have husbands out here in Dallas, they found partnerships with men that support them more emotionally, and then they're able to be successful in their fields. I've been in relationships where things were really popping for me, and like my one guy that y'all met lost his job, and he kind of lost it after that, and he turned into a different personality. And I tried as much as I wanted to be there for him, and I got you. It doesn't matter if he's not feeling good about himself, and meanwhile you're celebrating a new milestone, a booking, a house, or this or that. And you end up being a victim of your own success. And
we liked him.
I loved him. I thought I thought we were getting married this year. You know what I mean? I haven't really spoken publicly about it. It's my first time, and I hope I don't regret doing this. But yeah, it was difficult. Friend for many, many years, and I see a lot of women that feel like you can't really have both. And I hated seeing Nene cry. I mean, we're not friends, but I definitely can empathize for a woman that's in pain. And, she's also a very big personality. Probably some men don't see that soft side. They think, oh, she's just a lot to handle, so they don't bother.
Right.
A lot of times when you're an alpha woman, you're working a lot. People think, oh, you probably be too difficult. And really, you'll be the softest once you feel like someone is there and has your back. You want to be soft and feminine. So I don't know. So it ain't because my stuff stank funky. Because I'm too red.
But before I make my commentary, either Al or Claudia, I need a little more context. She's crying because she's single now, and she thought that what she was in was going to work out. Like, give me some context.
That's what I'm assuming. That's how I read it, Q. I felt like felt like a little. Once again, I'm working hard at trying to make something work. It's not working. And she even says her compromise, though, I felt was kind of significant, because I think in that testimony she shares that she would even be willing to let him go out and have sex with other people. That's kind of how I interpret it. Maybe the soulmates can help us out in the chat if that's how they interpret it as well.
So here's what I'll say. I think oftentimes people put too much emphasis sometimes on romantic relationships, and that we take for granted the overall family and love that we have around us. Nene's got children. She's got grandchildren that she can kind of pour herself into to distract herself from some of these feelings. Greg just died a couple years ago. You're not going to find your Prince Charming tomorrow, and I understand it. And sometimes you have to cast your net wider. You know what I'm saying? Nene's man might not be in Atlanta. He might not be. Well, this one wasn't in Atlanta. I don't know. I feel bad for her. I just don't want her or any woman to put this much emphasis on romantic partnership until the point where it's bringing you distress and causing you to cry. Because although romantic partnership is great, it's not the end all be all. And they say it's better to have loved and lost than not to have loved at all. And you did have a wonderful situation with Greg. And that, you know, hopefully not, but that may be just it for you in this lifetime. And if that is the case, she's got to be all right with that. That's all I got on it. But coming up next, find out what Omarosa had to say about Donald Trump, and later we'll find out if Cher hired someone to kidnap her son. Stay close.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right seat.
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz!
Oh,
I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers. The Sisterhood of Women in Tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome back to TGIF. You know, before we went to break, we were talking about Nene Leakes and her reaction, being upset about things seemingly not really going the way she liked in her relationship. And I think a lot of people, women, especially Black women, the ratio is just not in our favor right now. I want to kind of get a little bit more into that. I was kind of feeling like, you know, we've been hearing reports there that her and her guy, they're on, they're off, they're on, they're off. And she's probably dealing with that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, like people say, oh, who cares? You got a career, you're successful. Unfortunately, unlike with men, especially with Black women, our value is based on, well, where's your man? Well, you ain't got a man. Your coochie must be something must be wrong with it. You must not be a good cook, or you must be crazy. Instead of, I didn't want that guy that broke my heart, or he was abusive. Like, it's always like something's wrong with you. If you look at the state of like dating right now, more and more people opt into, like, they don't want it. They're not looking to get married. They want situationships. So it's hard. It's a small group of men that even want that, I think. Well, what I'm saying, what do y'all think about this? Let's get more into this.
I think sometimes women should try to think outside of what their dream ideal man is. Like for me, for instance, I think a good person for Nene would be like one of those good old icons or moguls from the South or from the projects, like a Kevin Liles from Baltimore projects, or like good old Bob Johnson, you know, from the Mud Pies, Mississippi Road, or one of those good old sugarcane dudes from South Carolina, like Shannon Sharp, like someone who understands her because she's a personality, but also comes from that old background where they still respect their queens. You understand? You know what I mean? So, and I don't think that those are personally her types, because she has a type, and I don't think, or a preference, I don't think that's a problem with people having a type of a preference. But I think if you want to find happiness with the respect and understanding that you deserve, I think maybe you just got to kind of change your thought process, maybe.
I also think she didn't really grieve the loss. She jumped into something else to try to help with the pain. And I don't blame her for that because, listen, we all handle breakups or grieving differently. And I don't think people should judge and say it was too soon. Well, maybe that too soon is what helped her not crack. You know what I'm saying? And at the time it felt she took comfort in it. So I'm not mad at that. But you need to have to put some space between something. Sometimes for you to not be in the clouds, I think, you know, and then when you break up with that second person, you're dealing with two losses at the same time, you know?
To your point, we got a comment from a soulmate, Denise Salvi, who says, Nene jumped into a relationship too soon. She needed to heal and work on herself. And Chancey Simmons says, no, I think Greg was her rock and she will never find someone else who will love her in that way. You know, Al, I disagree with you a little bit. I don't think Nene should be in a high profile relationship. I just don't. And who am I? I just see her with a regular person who doesn't have a high profile. Both people don't need to be high profile. That's actually something I'm against in my own personal life. I don't think I would date another celebrity person. It's just too much, and it just brings too much extra to trying to be together, which is already convoluted as hell in 2023.
And let me tell you something, when you got two people that are in the spotlight, when something goes wrong in one person's relationship, it extra stings for they see you flourishing and they're not, it really is times 100 and they get reminded of it by other people. And it's very hurtful. All right, y'all, I like these kind of conversations. Let's get into this next story. Former White House advisor and personality, Omarosa called out Donald Trump for allegedly being a con artist. Omarosa said, for me, I just can't believe I fell for a con man who turned out to be the biggest fraud. I mean, literally found by the courts to be a big fraud. Do you have any sympathy for Omarosa in this situation? I'm going to go last. Who wants to go first?
I'll go, hell no, Omarosa. Hell no, I have no sympathy for her. She's one of the biggest con women in the game. She's extremely deceptive and two-faces, and she's been able to make her role as a manipulative narcissist equitable, though, and that is clearly her brand. She was an accomplice, and let's be very clear about this. She was an accomplice and knew exactly who she was supporting for years. She supported his racism, she supported his misogyny, and she supported his fraud. It wasn't until she got kicked out the White House, the big house, that's what we call it. It wasn't until she got kicked out the big house that now she wants to say, oh, I didn't know. No, Omarosa, baby, you're first of all way too smart, especially with that PhD.
Fuck you, what you think?
Listen, I 100% agree with Al. Omarosa was one of those Black people who got a seat at the table, was willing to sell us all upstream or willing to gaslight us all for her personal gain. She did not give a damn about the Black collective. It was all about her personal gain. And once she was no longer invited to we have the cookout, what they have, cocktail parties. Once she was no longer invited to the cocktail party, then you wanted to switch teams and come over here and try to rally and get all this Black support. No, ma'am. Stay over there or stay left out in the cold, because Omarosa, you are like Stacey Dash. We don't want you back. We don't want you back. And here's the thing about you, Omarosa. We don't question your Blackness like we do with Stacey Dash. We simply just don't trust you. Like you're just not a trustworthy person, and you've demonstrated that time and time again. And I think your level of intellect is what makes you the most untrustworthy, because you are so damn smart and you're so damn cunning. And she's what my grandmother would say, too damn smart for her own good.
You know, I never watched Omarosa on Celebrity Apprentice, and my good friend Jeff Johnson was friends with her. And he's like, just give her a chance. He's like, she's like you. She's in the way of being misunderstood from who she really is. So I gave her a shot, and we became friends because I never watched her on television. Then we ended up doing Celebrity Apprentice All-Stars together a month and a half after Michael Clark Duncan's funeral. I can go on and on about that. I'm not going to do this right now. Ain't the time or the place. I might write about it in my book because it's still something that deeply disturbs me. But whatever, it ain't about that right now. What I saw in that show was disgusting, okay? The fact that you're saying now in 2023 that you realizing you fell for a con man, Get the F out of here, Omarosa. If you were dumb, if you were like a little dense, like a Stacey Dash, we can maybe be like, okay, but you're not. You're actually quite brilliant, but also evil. So that's what makes you dangerous. You knew what this man was about. Matter of fact, in episode 4, when I was project manager and I was fired that episode, the reason why he sped up my firing so quickly, because he was dying to get to his own press conference, because that was the night he dropped the press conference about offering $5 million for anyone that could provide the birth certificate or proof of Barack Obama not being a citizen. So we knew back then. So yes, I used to be real cool with Donald Trump, right? He used to call me, call him before he showed this stuff. I cut him off right when he started that birther stuff. You continued for years. So you knew back then, but it didn't serve you to cut him off. You were his black token. He could say, this is my good friend. And you thought that to think that would even carry weight in the black community, you guys made a huge miscalculation. So miss me with it now. Because now you're on reality shows now. Before you was getting that big money. Now you're on the House of Villains trying to win $200,000 before you used to try to be up for $1 million. So I think you're just going lower and lower and lower. And now you want to come back. You want to get invited to the Soul Train Award this year. You missed going to the Image Awards and the BET Awards. You missed this. And I hope the black community doesn't fall for it. Because remember, this heifer told us we would bow down and want to kiss the ring of who she looked at like massa. And I don't apologize for any of this. I really do not, because you're intelligent. You don't have to use your powers for evil. And I wish you would have a real reckoning and just get it together.
And do something positive for the doggone community. We got EE from PHX says she's a con, so it takes one to know one. She knew what she was getting into. Shame on you, Omarosa. And T10 TV said, yep, she knew exactly who she was supporting, working for, and now she want to backpedal and pussy pop, as Q would say. And Nyla Jones, real messy child. She said, Claudia, write the book. You have so many stories about everyone.
Being around for like 28, 29 years, you will. And I'm not on those Soulja Boy stuff. These are legit stories. And then one day, like the funeral of Michael Clark Duncan, I have so much about that really enrages me, because I was a good man Savannah, as you would say, Q.
Good
and
man.
The way that man did not have.
Good man. Oh, he's so good.
You're going to pay me for my pain too. All right. We're going to write this book. Omarosa, you know I know. And the family done gave me all the tea. Okay. Ex-NFL player Sergio Brown was found and arrested for the murder of his mother, Myrtle Brown. If you remember, Sergio and his mother were originally reported missing in September, but suspicions grew when Sergio released a video of himself claiming that his mother's death was fake news. Sergio was caught in California and will be extradited to Illinois on the first-degree murder charge. What do you think about this crazy story, Al?
This is just drastically tragic and sad. I've been reading everything about Miss Myrtle, and allegedly, guys, Miss Myrtle was a sharp dresser, and she was known in her community as a stepper. Like she knew how to do the line dances and step and everything. So it's just hard to digest that a 73-year-old woman would be taken out like this, especially since he lived with her in her home that she had been at for many, many years. All I can say in this case is that I did watch the video that Jasmine Brand put up today, and he looked very unhealthy. He looked grossly skinny. He looked like he was high or was under allegedly some type of chemical or alcohol. But I will say this, if he is guilty, they need to put his ass underneath the jail.
I agree. What a tragic story. Q, what do you think?
We got multiple things going on here. Much to Al's point, I saw the pictures of this woman and her spirit. I don't even know this lady from a can of paint, but her spirit just radiated through the picture. And it just gave me that feeling that you get from like the ladies at church that make the good caramel cakes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I felt when I saw her pictures. But we cannot, in our rage and our upset and in our anger, we cannot negate the fact that his video showed that he was clearly mentally unstable. And I'm not making excuses for him, But that video right there that y'all are showing, I've watched that thing and I've analyzed it several times. Like when I went to Florida State University and got my degree in economics, them people ain't teach me nothing about psychiatry. All right. But it don't take a rocket scientist to see that something is not right with this boy. And, you know, hopefully we get the truth, but it's giving his mind was bad and he did something to his mom in an episode, in a psychiatric episode. That's what it's given.
Have you all ever been around anyone with that you suspected had CTE?
Mm-hmm.
No, not that I can think of.
I have.
Me too. I had a friend that actually just died a couple months ago, a football player, that he would, on a phone call, he would go through a whole range of emotions, singing on the phone, crying, laughing. And then in his mind, everything was huge. Like, today is the worst day of my life. I'm like, what's wrong? My dog went through my trash. And just erratic thoughts and just all over the place. And Al, if you've been around someone that had CTE, you've probably been around like kind of mood swings and things that don't really make sense. You know, and in his mind, he probably had a legitimate reason why he did this too.
Yeah, that's just outside of my scope of understanding, because I think to be triggered to killing somebody is mental health at a different level, right? I understand mood swings, I understand suicidal thoughts, I understand all of that, but that's a whole different part of the brain of aggression that's forcing you to kill somebody. And this is kill someone that birthed you, raised you, loved you unconditionally, and allowed you to come back into their home to live with them after you've gone through all that you're going through. So I think maybe it's a combination, Claudia. Maybe it's more than just CTE, and maybe it's something that they've known a long time, and because it wasn't addressed appropriately or because he wouldn't manage it correctly, it led to the death of his lovely mother, Miss Myrtle.
And unfortunately, with such a money-making entity as the NFL, we'll probably never get a real admission of it. You know, it's always going to be like, yeah. Okay. All right. Coming up next, Cher clears her name in her son's kidnapping. And later, was DJ Envy part of a real estate scam? We're going to talk about it. Keep it locked.
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz.
Oh,
I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
Every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR. It's so good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Whatever gets you talking. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
TGIF.
Al and I, battle of the cleavage. Who got the sluttiest shirt on tonight? I say Al wins.
Live and interactive.
Pervy girl said, Claudia's showing us her white side today. Coming to work with her wet hair. No, I had to do a test in a pool today.
Serving up all the tea.
Funky, how's the dating life going?
It's going to the next thing.
No, the phonies want to know.
I'm like Oprah and Stedman. Y'all will never get my real business. So
on Fox Soul.
Welcome back to TGIF. I see in the comments, Icy J says, Claudia looks like she's sleepy and not all there tonight. I'm here, you guys. I just have a migraine, so just bear with me. I'm waiting for this Excedrin migraine to kick in. I don't have the good perks like Mr. Al Reynolds. I don't see what they're seeing. You don't look sleepy to me. My eyes, I'm like the light. You know when you get migraines, you're like,
Oh, you squinting.
Yeah, I'm just squinting a little
Got
bit.
them good drugs she on over there.
Wait, I need it to kick in. I wish I had some edibles, but I'm in Texas, so I don't think I can get them. All right, moving
Are
on.
they illegal?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I always follow the law. So yeah. Okay. Cher is finally addressing the accusations that she hired 4 men to kidnap her son in New York back in 2022. Her son's estranged wife was the one who accused Cher of hiring men to kidnap him from his hotel home in an attempt at an intervention. Now, Cher's son has a history of substance abuse. However, Cher recently denied the allegations. All right, y'all. Funky Al. Do you believe that Cher is in the clear? Go ahead, Al. I see you guys.
Hell no, Cher lying. We know Cher
Is she lying?
Cher is lying. We know Cher's lying. You call it kidnap. I call it pick him up and taking him to freaking rehab. The ex-wife is the one that called it kidnapping. Now, let's go on and break this down a little bit. Now, on November 30th, 2022 is when this went down. He was in a hotel with his ex-wife, or the wife that called it, quote, kidnapping. They had been in this hotel, everybody, for more than 10 days, like 12 days. And Cher was like, okay, we're not doing this. This is just my perspective, everyone. In my head, Cher's like, we're not doing this. I'm paying for all of this. We're not doing this. He needs help. She sent a little help over there, 2 big old strong security guards to go over there, pick him up, and take his ass to rehab. That's how I interpreted what happened. She say tomato, I say tomato. You say kidnap, I say, what do you say?
Intervention.
Pick them up, intervention.
Okay. Q, what you think about this?
She did exactly what the hell you're supposed to do when you have a family member that's messed up. You let me find out if somebody told me my sister or something was on drugs. I'm going over there. I'm banging on the door. I'm taking her children. She gonna have to fight me, or we gonna have to fight down to the damn ground. And then I'm gonna have. I ain't got share money to hire no security guards. So I'm gonna get my cousin Ray, and I'm gonna get Raekwon now to throw her ass in the back of somebody's car, and I'm dropping her ass off in front of goddamn Camilla's house. That's all to it. And I'm sorry, and I hate to bring Whitney into the situation, but this is why I feel like Whitney Houston's death is on her family's hands, because this is what family does. Okay, I don't give a damn about you being mad. I don't give a damn about your feelings hurt. I don't give a damn about you having a career at that point. I'm snatching your ass up. All right. I'm marching your ass down to the courthouse. I'm letting the judge see how much of a hot damn mess you are. I'm getting your rights taken away, and I'm getting you some help. That's what family does. That's what they better do. So if she did kidnap him, oh well. A mother, a father is supposed to go to the earth's end and back to help their child. She did what she was supposed to do. And it seems like the wife, you wasn't doing SHIT, because why was he trapped? Well, I guess, here's what I know about drugs, all right? They don't get done alone. Drugs is not a solitary activity, all right? So, maybe Fish was mad that Cher didn't get her no help, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe Fish was mad that her connection to the drug source and the money to get the drugs was cut off. I don't know. But Cher did exactly what a mother's supposed to do with a troubled child.
When you're that wealthy and you have unlimited resources, I agree. You do everything you can do to make it happen and let people be mad if they want to. It seems like she's in a good place with her son now. So I guess it works. If she didn't do everything she could, right, and something happened, people would say, "Oh, you're so rich. Why didn't you step in? Well, you should have, could have, did." Well, she did, and people, and there's still people running their mouth. So I'm happy for her getting it together. All right, a 22-year-old broke the Guinness World Record with this special talent called gurning, which is putting your bottom lip over your nose. What are your thoughts on this man's talent? It looks like he has no teeth. He looks like he's from Florida.
Don't do that. That's got Mississippi all over it. Listen.
Not Mississippi.
He's got a large.
Oh wow.
Oh, not Mississippi, Q. Why Mississippi?
I don't know. I just trying to get the heat off of Florida. He has his lower mandible looks like it's extended or he's a big underbite. So does this really count as a talent? Like lately these things that people are doing in the Guinness World Book of Records, it's kind of throwing me. And then lastly, can this be monetized? Do you get anything when you get a world record?
I don't know.
Not sure.
Because if not, it's just dumb to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't give me, if he's proud of it, his family's proud of it, and it's accomplishment, I'm not going to take it from him, and I'm not going to piss in his cornflakes. But I'm just used to like, woman climbs highest skyscraper being the Guinness World Book of Records, and not somebody being able to put their lip over their nose when they were born with what looks kind of like a jaw deformity.
It's giving participation trophy at this time, the stuff that's even in the world. Like, I miss when it was like, fastest 100-meter run. I don't know, deepest dive. But this is giving Instagram. Al, what do you think about this?
Oh, I don't. I don't. I'm here for all things black. I'm glad that he's a black guy winning a Guinness Book of World Records. That's the most I can give you on this. Great job, guy.
That's all it deserves. All right, keep it locked, because coming up next was DJ Envy, part of a real estate scam, and later find out who wants to lose their virginity again.
Woohoo!
Oh, we can do that again? Is it refurbished? We'll be right back.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
TGIF.
Al and I, battle of the cleavage. Who got the sluttiest shirt on tonight? I say Al wins.
Live and interactive.
Curvy girl said Claudia's showing us her white side today. Coming to work with her wet hair. No, I had to do a test in a pool today.
Serving up all the tea.
Funky, how's the dating life going?
It's going to the next thing.
No, the phonies want to know.
I'm Oprah and Stedman. Y'all will never get my real business. So
on Fox Soul.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
My mom wanted my life to be better than what she had as a kid. When I became a mom myself, I feel like my whole world changed. You don't have to be a climate scientist to want to protect the earth. You always want the next generation to have something better than what you had.
Ooh, I don't know if I like that.
Welcome back to TGIF. You know what? Shout out to our director. Is he our director? Mikael. Mm-hmm. See, we used to train with Coach E in LA, and I believe back then we used to just call him Michael. I think they got the fancy LA name, the Mikael, and now he got
a little money in his pocket now.
Mikael, you know when people start putting little accents over like the letters in their name.
That's why I can't move.
But where would you put the accent over to Mikael?
Probably over the K, something weird like that.
That's why I can't move to LA, because I was telling our production team earlier. They asked me when I come to LA, and I was like, I can't come to LA because LA people are weird. Everybody has a thing. They're vegan. They drive energy free. Or they come and they reconvince it. My name is Mikael. I've been knowing you since elementary school. We used to call you Michael Williams. We used to call you Michael Williams. Now your name is Mikael.
It's like Mikael Love or something like that.
Mikael.
Mikael. So he's been talking to us with a little aggression in his voice sometimes. So yeah. All right, Mikael, we got you. All right, y'all. DJ Envy is denying recent claims that he was involved in an alleged real estate scam with his former business partner. Now, DJ Envy said they hosted seminars to educate and inspire others when it came to real estate. He says he has no knowledge if any money was collected and that if his business partner took any money, he was unaware. What do you have to say about this, Al?
Okay, so from the statement, I was like, get the fuck. Ooh. I was like, get out of here. Like, who, you know, now you're playing in my face. I was pulling a cue. But after I think about it, and I think about the long stint that he has, the career that he has, I definitely understand what he's saying without saying it. Legally, he better deny it. Legally, he's a part of one of the largest television shows, or radio, television, whatever you want to call it, shows. And as far as the FTC, this is grounds for him possibly being sanctioned, and sanctioned to the term, or to, you know, the forbiddable termination. So I understand denying it. I understand why you're saying you have no knowledge of it, and I get it. So from a legal standpoint, DJ Envy, I hear what you're saying, but from a personal standpoint, get out of here. You're not in a relationship with someone for 5 years, making lots of money, endorsing them, and not knowing anything about their legal practice. If you are, then I'm questioning you across the board on your business acumen.
You?
You know what? I don't want to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, y'all, you know, my mind wants to say that DJ Envy makes too much money to have to steal. You know what I'm saying? And especially when you come from humble beginnings, so you know what it's like to have no money, then you go to making like this good entertainment Breakfast Club money. You know, you don't have a reason to have to steal from people when you already living good. I don't want to believe it, but I don't know what the truth is.
So last time I was in New York, I actually... Am I frozen? Okay. It's happening again. I'm like, please, no. Last time I was on the Breakfast Club, I actually sat down with him after the show and we talked about it. I said, do you want to talk about this? And he actually broke stuff down to me. And I actually do believe him. And this is not because I want to go back, or I will be going back soon, because I'll be objective about this. If you're stealing from people, I actually don't want to be in business with you. I don't. But we talked about it. And he said that he has so much proof that he has no dealings. He had no dealings with the money that was given to his partner. He said he was endorsing it and he's the name, so he's catching all the strays. Now, his partner did in court documents, in an affidavit, put that Envy, he cleared him. He said Envy had nothing to do with the money, the investments. He did not take anyone's money. He was merely the face of it, that, oh, this is a course that we're doing. He also said he's also lost $500,000 of his own money investing in this. So he seemed quite confident in his case when I was talking to him. He said he's not worried about it. I think the social media started to get to him, and that's why he, against his lawyer's wishes, spoke on it. But I could easily see how I might endorse a product that, like, we endorse products all the time that we don't have inner workings of the knowledge of the inner workings of the business, but we get a fee, we make some money. And then if they go under, doesn't mean that we did it. It doesn't mean that we did it. You know what I mean? So I do think that, we'll know at the end of this, because then I don't think he would jeopardize 30 years in the business in a very good paying job. Like iHeartRadio is not a company. That's a very corporate, company. You don't want to mess that up for what, $500,000 there, $2 million. Yeah. He makes millions of dollars. Yeah. Just by doing what he does, That's
my point. That's my point. Like he makes it. There's no reason the payoff just isn't there. His net worth doesn't justify him taking money from people, taking some doggone classes. But let's jump to these comments real quick, Claudia and Al. Tisha Prater said, did y'all hear Emmy on the radio? He said he was advised by his lawyer not to talk about it, but he talked about it anyway. To your point, Claudia, I think the social medias get to him. And, he wants to clear. We all know what it feels like to want to clear our name when something is said. And let me get one more. L. Caldwell said, why do people trust someone with no real estate experience? And Tam said he may not have participated in the fraud, but that does not mean he is not liable for endorsing and promoting that man. Or there is some truth to that, Miss Tam.
Yep. I endorse that tea, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I ain't never tried no flat belly tea in my life, but they pay me, so I endorse it. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And I know I'm not the only one on this panel that endorsed some bullshit, some tea that.
They need to send me the tea. I'll endorse this shit. I'll try.
Hold on. Did this hoe just throw a straight bullet at me?
She sure did.
The tea I was selling worked, honey.
You endorse tea? I wasn't familiar. You endorse
Q,
tea?
how you gonna say the tea work for you? You are a $1.10 on a good day. What are you talking about?
Well, I was just, the tea that Coach was selling. I was selling the tea.
Backpedaling and pussy popping.
He was telling everybody.
No. I was selling the tea and the NutriBurst, and I was using the products.
See how easy it is to get caught up.
I'm not saying that you weren't using the products, but you didn't have any weight to lose, son.
Well, it was, even with that, it's a detox, and it did detox me. So granted, I didn't have any to lose, but it did what it was supposed to do. So I could effectively endorse the product, and the NutriBurst and the vitamins actually did work, and I still do take them, and I still do take the sea moss supplements.
Very good.
One thing about me, baby, and my fan base can tell you, I actually turn down endorsements all the time, especially being a YouTuber. I get them all the time. I don't like to hard sell my audience, because my audience don't like to be sold to. And so when that's why when I do come to my people with stuff, they oftentimes buy, because they know I'm not one of those people like Claudia Jordan who will sell y'all flat tummy tea and don't use it. Whenever I come to y'all, it's legit. Gonna mess up my damn money fooling up with Claudia.
Y'all just floated each other both down.
Well, I'm in the company of people like Snoop Dogg. Felicia says Snoop Dogg endorses gin and juice, but he said he never drunk it. So, all right. To each his own. All right, we have an update on the shooting at Morgan State University. The HBCU has decided to build a wall around the campus after 5 people were shot last week during homecoming. The Baltimore police have released surveillance footage of 4 suspects who are still on the loose. Al, I know this is your neck of the woods. What are your thoughts on the school building a wall around the campus?
Well, you guys know I've been on conference calls because we had a shooting at Bowie State University. I'm now on a committee. That's not what they said today. In fact, the university told 11 News that there's no wall. There will not be built a wall, because they just spent years of dismantling a wall that they felt was causing tension between the university and the community. So there's no wall. But what they are sharing is that they do plan on extending a fence around the perimeter to help protect the kids. And I'm super excited about that. The fence presently only protects 60% of the campus, and they're hoping by year end they can make that 90% so that we can make sure our young future doctors, lawyers, mechanics, and nurses and everybody are protected more and better.
Hugh?
Here's the thing. I think it's great. But for me, it's a false sense of security. It's just like people who live in gated communities and thinking they're doing something, and all I got to do is follow the person in front of me in to get into the doggone community. Unless there's going to be one entry point in and one entry point out with a guard that's asking to see your student ID, I imagine people will still be freely able to walk on and off the campus just like any other campus in any college, city, town, or whatever the case may be. Now, don't get me wrong, I will never say anything negative about people putting up extra security precautions, but just this whole notion that a wall is going to keep, people out is just ridiculous, because college campuses are open.
Lady C says PWIs, predominantly white institutions, are closed. So I don't know.
Well, I went to FSU and ours wasn't. You could. Not saying that some aren't, but close. But I went to FSU, and you could clearly walk on and off the campus. Even though our campus did have a perimeter, you distinctly knew when you were on campus. Same thing with FAM. You could walk in and off. So I don't know. Maybe some colleges are completely closed.
Yeah, mine wasn't either. All right, y'all. Coming up, we're talking about getting our cherries popped. More on that right after this.
I be girl.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
You did not just tell me about the word Riz.
Riz! I gave y'all free Riz.
McMillan and Mara.
When you want to meet a woman or meet a guy, say something about the space.
Yeah.
And see how they respond.
every Thursday.
Because if the person can't respond to an observation about the space that's clear, you talking to a dummy. Or someone you might take home, but not to your mama. And you know what I'm saying.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
Welcome back to TGIF. Shout out to all the soulmates in the chat. Should we talk about the Alabama story before we get into virginity?
Yeah, let's talk about Alabama.
Yeah, let's talk about the Alabama story.
All right, y'all. Alabama college students were caught on video harassing Texas football players from the sidelines. Watch this clip.
You guys are all go back to the project. Go back to the project. Go back to the project. Let's go.
Can you believe this? Now, these honkies were telling these black kids to go back to the projects as they're there watching a football game that they are participating in. The clip, the Alabama students called the Texas players homophobic slurs. And like I said, told them to go back to the PJs. Unacceptable. What do y'all think about this?
I think it's garbage. I think these slurs are an act of violence and it's a form of hate crime. And even though the university did issue a statement and said it's not anything that they support and they condemn it, they do claim that they can't figure out which kid said it, which I feel is a bunch of bull crap. If you have that whole stadium is being taped. It's actually being what it televised. So to tell me that you don't know how and who did this is a blatant slap in my face. I don't like it.
I mean, I don't think it's possible. I remember again, my time at FSU, everybody in Doak Campbell Stadium wasn't a student. Anybody.
No, we know that these are students. They're sitting in the student section. They're sitting in the student section. They're being recorded. The whole stadium is under surveillance. All you have to do is go from the time you saw those guys jigging to the student section and where it came from and look at it, and you will see who said what and when. And also students get assigned tickets. So you know exactly who and where the tickets came from the section it was coming from.
Well, you know what? If they did or they don't find out who they are, at the end of the day, those people are sitting in the stands and those black players are living their dream. And I'm glad that they did not respond. They just continued with their black boy joy and had a good old time. All right, y'all, check out this tweet. If you could, would you change how you lost your virginity? Fellas, Q, go ahead.
Hell, absolutely. Yes, I would change that thing. I think most people would change how they lost their virginity. I share enough of my business. This is one piece that I ain't gonna share with y'all. But yes, I would most definitely. Ooh, I regret it. Ooh,
why?
Not me, girl.
It was outside in the backyard behind the air conditioner.
Why are you always behind something? You're always about a dumpster,
a tree, on his knees.
You have sex on a bed in a nice hotel room? Ever?
It was at my mama's house in the backyard behind the air conditioner, child.
Not me, Claudia. Hell no. I couldn't wait to get it in the hole. Let me tell you, and I couldn't wait to repeat it again and again and again and again. I wish I had done it earlier. Yeah.
I don't regret mine. He was a nice guy. He was my boyfriend and whatever. It was, he was a good guy. So it wasn't bad, but sometimes you wish you would have waited, but nah, it's all good. All right. So yeah, no one wants to just Q. You had a always behind
It
you.
wasn't right. I wish it would have been more poetic. I wish I would have been older. I wish I would have had a better understanding of what I was doing. Is
it rude for me to ask if it was with a female or male?
It was a girl.
Okay.
Behind the air conditioning. All right. Well, hey.
Was the air conditioner leaking?
I'm sure something was. I want to thank Reynolds and Funky Dineva. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Stay tuned for McMillan and Mora. We'll see you tomorrow. And damn, if the girl is watching that Funky lost his virginity too, hit us up. We want to interview you. I want to.
Y'all messy.